right? The obvious answer is I will go and save my friend, right? Because even so there is something which makes your friend more valuable than this 110 rupees. It clearly shows that, oh, we are not the bunch of chemicals, we are much more than a chemical itself, right? So think about it, like what is it, what is it, and what do you guys think, what is it that makes your friend more valuable than 110 rupees actually? Any thoughts, anyone?
We can't compare, right, or what we are having the relationship with the money. So that
Oh,
is
you are
not
saying
able
the
to
relationship.
the relationship or yeah, the soul or whatever. We can't relate it with the caste.
Yeah, we
If
don't
we
we
lost
don't
the
think of.
caste, yeah, we lost the caste, we can able to recover it. But if we lost the soul or the, we can't able to, right?
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. So you're thinking of it in those lines, right? That there is something more than chemicals, right? Yeah, Anukriti ji, yes, you have your hand raised.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yes, maybe the love we have for the other human being, maybe that
Hmm.
attachment,
Okay,
the
okay,
attachment, we choose the attachment over materialism.
okay, okay. So you're saying that the love, because I'm able to. So what the if you think deeply on this one also, right? You'll realize that this attachment also comes because we are able to identify with that person, right? We think that, oh, he's my friend, okay, and that
Mm-hmm.
my is something which actually we want to preserve ourselves, and we want to preserve that my things also, right? And
Yes, possessions
that
are
yes,
possession.
correct, yeah, yeah. But there
Mm.
is, I mean, if you think purely from like, so also think that you don't know that person, for example, and there is a unknown
Mm-hmm.
person dying, okay, and unknown car had an
Mm-hmm.
accident. You would still try to save
Mm-hmm.
that person rather than saving the car, right? Without having
That's
an
true.
attachment,
That's true.
right? So there is
Yes,
something.
but there are
Yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
but there are other human beings who really don't care about other people. They
Why
are
not?
more
I mean,
materialistic. They care about
yes.
their possessions and
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. There are such people, but I mean, just think about yourself, right? I mean, if you see a person, let's keep it
yeah.
simple. I don't want to go into different directions, but
Ah,
you just see
okay,
a person
okay.
dying, won't you go and save him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that so? You
Yes,
know
yes.
that that person's life is more valuable than that 50 lakhs Mercedes Benz, right?
True, true,
and
true.
and, and let's
Yeah.
let's stick to the point that, oh, there is something special about a human, right? There's something special about an animal, right? You are not able
Hmm.
to equate them with these material things, right? So
Because we
what
can get Mercedes again, we can buy a car again, but not a life. We cannot get a friend again.
Yeah, what does it mean by life, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's a big question. Like, people say that life, if you ask scientists, right, they will say that, oh, absence of death is life, right? And if you say what is death,
Hmm.
they'll say absence of life is death, right? But what is life and death is a big question, by the way, right? I mean, even people who are like completely fine with their all the hearts and lungs and all sort of body parts working perfectly, they just die like that, right? So what happens then? I
Hmm.
mean, what goes missing is what we are trying to find out. We're trying to make some concept real in front of you, and not have
Mm-hmm.
it like, oh, we all know that we are a soul, right, in India, but it doesn't make any difference in our life, okay? We keep on searching for happiness variety of places, but we don't realize that the happiness lies somewhere within. So the point that scripture says that, like, this is supposed to be the ABCD of spirituality, right? As I said last time, I mean, as when you say spirituality, it starts with a word called spirit. So it's the understanding of spirit is very, very important. Anybody who claims to involve in spirituality but doesn't know about spirit is just fooling people, right? So the spirituality is about understanding the spirit, the soul, really, okay? So what is told is, like, that like, there is a gigantic hand, right? I mean, so called JCB, right? You must have seen the things which move the stones and things, like. And why it moves? Because there is a small person, there's a person comparatively smaller than that machine, who's sitting within it and who's moving that machine. So, like, uh, that machine is moved by a person, our body is also moved and controlled by something else, right? That's the point we'll try to make, and which is superior, and we understand that in our heart, because we know that that person's life is more important than that machine's life. Yeah. So nonetheless, yeah, so, like, just going ahead. So exactly, that's the point, right? it doesn't sound like you, right? You don't think that these chemicals make up your body. You don't cry when you throw away all these chemicals. 110 rupees of chemicals, if you throw away out of your window, you will not cry. But you will cry when this person dies. So this is scientists' view of a person. They cannot really define anything beyond that. But we all know that this is not the right understanding, right? Like we took an example of a gulab jamun, right? A scientist will say that it's a spherical in shape, and that gulab jamun has a porosity of this much. It is floating in a viscous liquid and things like that. But they will not be able to explain something. They will not be able to explain what it tastes when you put that gulab jamun in your mouth, right? That thing can only be experienced. It cannot be scientifically explained, right? Similarly, we cannot scientifically explain how this why this person is so important to us, right? So that's the only point I'm trying to make. So we're not just 110 rupees of chemical, right? We are more than that. Just think about, like, we talked about this person everybody knows, and well-known movie star, right? And we wanted to watch her movies when she was there around, right? But this same person, same body, same chemicals, right? And there is no feeling, thinking, desires, no consciousness, and we don't even want to, maybe, I mean, like, you not want to watch this slide for longer time, right? Because of something, right? So the same chemicals don't give the same appeal when something is missing. Now, what is that something we should think about, right? But the soul is gone, right? The soul is something which is missing here. The life force of it, that is not there. So this is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, he said, "Na jayate mriyate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavitam va na bhuya, ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire." So in short, in the layman's term, this verse means, right, that for a soul, there is neither birth nor death at any point. Okay, the soul is eternal and it is ever existing. Okay, and it is primeval. I mean, like, it has always been existing and it will always exist. So do not worry. This is the kind of thing he says. I mean, you think yourself, right? I mean, just think. We don't need to be a very rocket scientist. We don't even need to even be a great spiritualist to understand one thing. I mean, if I tell you that nobody is ready to admit that they are going to die, even though we are going to die one day, right? We all think that we are going to live eternally. Now, where does that feeling comes from that we are eternal? Okay, because we are not this body, we are a soul. Okay, and that feeling of eternality is something which is known to us. All of us know that in our heart, that we are eternal, right? Nobody is ready to accept. We have seen so many people dying. We all know that scientifically, yes, we'll all be dead after 100 years, if nothing less, right? So, but yeah, but we still feel we are alive always. So this is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. In fact, it's more than that he says. Now you'll say that, oh no, this is all scriptures and things like that. We'll try to make this real for you, by the way, scientific for you. So if you think about the body and soul, right, the characteristics. So the body is a matter meaning, like, earth, air, fire, water, ether. But the soul is the spirit. It is very, very different from the matter. Okay, the matter and spirit are like oil and water. They don't mix together. Okay, you cannot just the spirit doesn't get satisfied by the material things. Okay, that's how the scriptures tell us. Okay, body has no consciousness. Body is like always dead. It is like a dead matter, like a rock or a dirt and things like that. But the soul is the one which makes the body conscious. Okay, that is the living force. And wherever you see around, whichever thing is living, it has a soul. Feel free to challenge me, question me, where did I got this understanding, or this is wrong. Feel free to do that, please. Okay, I'll be happy to talk more about any point, whatever I'm speaking. Okay. Now the body, it changes, but the soul doesn't change, right? The body, when it changes, it means like it grows from being a boy to an adult to old person and things like that, right? Your hand increases in size, your weight increases, and things like that. So the body keeps on changing, but the soul, it is like that. The same soul is there in the body. It never grows or shrinks. The body is temporary, right? We all understand that, but the soul is eternal. The same soul travels body after body. Okay? And the body is dead, always dead, and the soul is the thing which is alive. Okay, this is how we can classify these things, both body and soul. I hope I'm understood. This is just a revision. I know that some people were already there. For them, if it is boring, let me know. I can tell some more things there if you want to know more. Because I don't see any hand raised, and I'm keen to hear from you also. It's okay, right?
It's
Thumbs up, thumbs
acceptable.
down. Okay, it's okay so far with me. All right. Okay.
So,
All right. So we go ahead. Yeah. My favorite slide. I really like this slide when I saw it for the first time. So you're you're not this body. Like this is how we look at the mirror and feel happy and we smile. Oh, I'm looking good. My hairstyle is so wonderful. Things like that, right? But you are not this body. This is how it really looks like as per scriptures. Okay. So there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita which exactly talks about this. So this is how it is, right? I mean, think of your eyes as a camera, a video camera, if it is something like this, through which there is a person sitting somewhere near the heart and is able to see you. Okay, and when he sees you, he is able to identify with you, and that person, he, she, they, and that person is the actual driver of the body, and that person is the soul. Okay, and he's taking pleasure in seeing that body. Okay, this is what is going on in reality. This is the scriptural view of how the body and souls are related. Any question, comments? Yes, Satish,
yeah,
please.
yeah. Oh, I have some this one. So when we are acting for day-to-day things, right? So mostly we are getting command from our brain. See, I'm doing writing or reading. I'm doing some job. Basically, if you
Hmm.
see, I'm getting from my order or command from my brain,
Hmm.
right? And then
Okay.
how the soul is playing that role here. And many times I am
Yeah.
feeling that the soul not able to come out, and mostly the people are listening from our brain command or something else is behind the soul.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Are
I
you
don't know
working the
exactly how
software?
to tell,
So
but yeah.
I understand that there is a brain. How does the soul come from in
Because if
between,
we know
right?
the soul and day-to-day activity, right? Mostly we are,
Hmm.
that's my question. So mostly you
Yes. Yes.
will now also I'm listening. So what is happening there? It will directly go into my brain only, and then it asked me to the raise the question and those things. But mostly
Hmm.
I'm not feel my soul to do these things.
Yes. So you are from software industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So right? I mean, in a laptop or a desktop, what happens is there is a microprocessor, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a RAM, there is a motherboard, there is a CPU, a GPU, and variety of other things, right? All of that is
Mm-hmm.
like hardware. Okay, they all are present.
Yeah,
Okay, in a dead person or a living person, in a computer which is formatted, and in the computer where the software is installed, both of them have the same hardware, right? But the computer on its own doesn't do anything.
mm-hmm.
Okay, you need software to run there. The life
Yes.
force, if missing, your brain doesn't work. I can share some documentaries where people actually had accident where the brain came out, so part of brain came out. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
even after that happening, they were able to operate normally in life. Now what happened, nobody can figure out, right? So
Yeah.
that life force, that software, that power cable is required for running the computer, right? Now where is that power coming from? I mean, you have the same brain. As I said, you must have seen people. I have also seen people in my life who were like perfectly normal and they just died like that. There was no
Mm.
explanation, pretty much. Right? What happened? What went missing?
If
So,
the
so
brain
that
dead
is.
is the body will going to live, but when they are going to act right, doing something.
Mhm.
That's my question will be that I can live if I am the sleeping also. I'm not doing anything,
Yes,
but due to my
yes,
soul, I'm still living. Okay,
yes, yes,
and then
correct,
when I'm
correct.
doing something, some acts, whatever I do
Mm,
the work, anything will be there. Mostly,
mm.
I'm feel that I receive the command from my brain only. That's
Yeah,
that's the
that is.
difference. Yeah, that's
No,
I
I'm
try
not
to
very.
understand now. Maybe
Yeah, I'm not clear about your question, but okay. I'm assuming that you get
no.
get
If
the
I if
point.
I do if I do anything, if I move my hand here and there,
Mm,
so mostly this command is came from my brain only, right? And the soul is there. Okay, it's there. I understand that it will maybe energy, If it's leave the body, we are nothing. This body have no value.
It is more than that,
Understand that?
actually. No, it is
It's
more
not
than
more
that.
than that. It's more than
Yeah.
that. So
Yes.
my question will be that mostly, right, we are getting the command from the brain. So maybe how to understand the soul, so that whether the soul can drive us
Yeah. This is how you
instead
think
of the
that the command is
brain.
coming.
Instead of the
Yeah.
brain, we
Hmm.
get driven, right? Mostly we driven by the brain.
No,
So
because
how
this is,
to
yeah. So
reach
my
this
point
point?
is,
We are showing
yeah,
is
I
a
got,
very big thing
yeah,
actually. It's
yeah. So I
not
get
easy
your
to
point.
understand.
Yeah. Here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. It is going to be a long discussion. I'll try to cut it short. But basically, the point is, um, we know only that the brain command is coming from brain, right?
Mm.
How do you know that there is something else which is driving that brain? Okay.
That's
See,
right now.
think about it like this. Scientists
Mm.
will just tell you that when you actually you having a nail and a hammer and you are just putting the nail in the wall, right? And by mistake, that hammer you put in your finger, right? I mean, it hits your finger. Now, what will happen? As per scientists, there was a brain wave which was smooth, and then there was a
Mm.
spike in the brain wave, right? That is the
Yes.
primary thing. As per that is the only thing they can explain, right? The secondary thing is that they will explain that, oh, you made a sound. Okay,
Mm.
that's all. I mean, scientifically, you can observe only this much. Now, my question is
Yes.
that there is something else missing. Somebody felt the pain. Who was that person who felt the pain? Okay, was it your middle oblongata? Was it your pituitary gland? What was that? Like, you tell me who felt the pain. There was somebody who felt the pain, a real pain, right? The brainwave happened, all sort of things happened, but somebody felt the pain. Somebody learned out of that thing, right? It is not so. It's more complicated than that. Really, I'm telling you, because brain is
Mm.
is just understood. That is the only thing we understand, that the command is coming from brain. But as I said, who's giving the command to the brain, right? Who's giving that desire to the brain, from where all these
Yeah.
things come from, right? Those things
Yes.
are not very clear, not very well understood by scientists. Okay, they don't
Okay.
get into that way of explaining. Okay, let's move on. If you have further question, we can talk offline also. I'll be able to explain more than this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
sure,
Thank you.
thank you. So from the material point of view, we are all bodies, right? Yeah. Anukriti ji, you have your hand raised, please. Go ahead.
Yes, can we not say that our soul is responsible for functioning of the brain and other body organs?
Yes, we can say that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you install,
So
as I
it
said,
what?
right, think of it like a software, right? A software, isn't it responsible for working
Mm,
of your all
yeah.
the parts of your computer? The same thing. Yes. Go ahead.
And 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 where the pain is related. So our brain gets the pain, I guess. It's the brain because whatever our soul is feeling, being a normal human being, I don't think that we have reached to that level where we can understand our soul.
Hmm.
What is that feeling? Is if it is feeling the pain or if it is happy or it is, looking for solace. Like,
Hmm. So you're thinking still from the pure view of a person, of a scientist who only knows that much only, right? They only understand till brain. That is
hmm,
the level you're talking about, right? What I am claiming here
yes.
is that
Nirendra,
it
one
is
more
more than
thing. The
that.
same thing.
And hey,
Sorry to interrupt,
sorry,
Nirendra. So,
Satish, sorry.
uh,
Let me complete and then
yeah.
can you
Okay.
just
Okay. No
wait?
problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
So the point is, like, the point I'm trying to make here is that yes, the brain feels the pain. Maybe it does for sure, right? But who's that person who experiences it? Somebody experiences this also. Where is this experience come from? Where are these desires come from? Where are these
Hmm,
love for somebody comes from? Right? You cannot explain
I
it.
get it.
You cannot explain this thing scientifically, and nobody gets into that domain, right? We only get till, okay, there is a brain wave, there is a this thing happened, right? Something is going up and down
Oh,
and
I
stuff
get
like
it.
that, right?
Hmm.
It's much more than that, really. Okay.
So you're talking about an individual's trait, the characteristic all individual have. Like every individual has brain and all the body organs, and everybody has soul, but every person is different from each other because what makes you different, what makes you choose something different, your preferences, so that decides your soul, right?
No, soul is a person.
No?
Okay, so think of soul as a real person. Okay, we'll as we go further
Hmm.
in this presentation, it will become more real for you. Okay, if you hold on with me, I'll be able to
Okay.
explain more of it.
Okay.
But soul is a
Okay.
person.
Okay.
Think of it as a real person. Okay, which is, as the
Mm-hmm.
diagram I showed, think of it as the driver of that body, this machine called the body. Okay, there's a driver
Mm-hmm.
who actually is driving this and using many more elements. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's hold on. If you don't get your answer in next 50 minutes, I'll
Mm-hmm.
we can talk more, right?
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
sure. Okay, Satish, yeah, is there something
Yeah, we can
different?
yeah, we can go forward. So we'll
Sure.
take
All
it.
right, thanks. Okay, so from the material point of view, we are all chemical bundles, right? This is what we know. And everything is finished when we are dead, pretty much, right? I mean, this is what scientist point of view is. You are dead and everything is gone. But if you look at all of this in a spiritual light, then we are all souls. And all of us, like, be it a dog or a cat or a snake or a bird, all of us are souls. Okay. And all of us are eternal. Nothing is dead. We don't die when this material body is dead. This is the spiritual point of view. And we transmigrate from one body to another. And that keeps on happening. Yeah. And this is how the soul looks like. Okay, you're trapped in this body, and because of many other things. But you must have heard, right? This body is made up of matter. Matter is like earth, water, fire, air, ether. Ether is space, right? So the soul is trapped in this body. And unfortunately, what we do is that we take care of body only, right? Now if there is a soul, right, and there is something living, then we do not bother caring about this soul at all. We only care about the body. We only If you go to a supermarket, you'll get all sort of things, and all of it is just to make your body more polished, right? A nail paint, hair dye, hair oil, comb, all sort of things, right? Whatever you can think of, everything is for the body. But there is nothing that we do for the soul, or we don't even know. Like, just see this picture, right? A lady is just polishing the cage, but she's not at all bothered about that parrot. She's not feeding the parrot at all. Now what is going to happen is the cage will be very beautiful, but the parrot will be dead, right? In fact, there are a lot of things that we talked about in last session, which I'm just skipping for the interest of time. But the point is that we are different from this. See, if the body had value, like the same nails have value, right? We take care of nails so much till they are attached to our body, right? Once they are detached, once you cut the nails, nobody cares about them. Same for the hair, right? Same for anything else. We don't even want to touch those things. We'll just throw away those nails or those hairs in the dustbin, right? So we don't care about this body. I mean, like, there's some kind of thing which is, when once it is attached to us, it has some value. Otherwise, there is no value, right? So the value exists till it is attached to us. Now, who's that us? Me. Who's that me? Till this thing is attached to me, I give some value to it, right? So think about that thing. So yeah, but we try to take care of this body, but we don't bother about this me at all. Okay, and because of which there is a struggle that we go through. We think that, oh, we'll be happy if we get so many things, but the happiness is something which just eludes us. We never get that happiness, no matter how hard we try, right? So okay, yeah. So as I said, right, that because the soul doesn't understand its real identity, and we identify with this body. That's the unfortunate thing, and we'll talk about it. It will become real when whatever I'm saying, I'll try to explain it in a more detailed way in further slides, whatever I'm saying here. So the point is, because soul is just busy polishing the body and pampering the body, right? But nobody's feeding the soul. So, and we don't even know that we are a soul, and we don't even know how to feed the soul. So because of which we're just struggling in this world. Anyways, you must be thinking I'm talking too much about soul, without any proofs. How can I believe you, right? Just one more call out again. If it is okay, can you turn on your camera if you don't mind? I'll really be able to connect better if the cameras are turned on. Thank you. All right. So yeah. Okay. So we go into the scientific proofs. Now, what are the scientific proofs we talked about? Anybody remembers last time we talked about them? Anybody remembers what are the proofs that we talked about? Let me see who all were there last time. If I can find someone. Okay, I don't know. Tell me, anyone who wants to be the first one. Okay. All
Can you
right.
hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
So last time we spoke about a couple of experiences
Mhm.
by living beings, which were more related to souls, as in rebirth, out of body experience, and a few more with scientific proven examples.
Okay. Yeah. Do you remember any specific proofs that we talked about? Yeah, Anukirti ji. Yes.
See, I was not in the last session. This is my
Mm.
first session, but I know because I have been reading few articles. So there was this one scientist, I don't know his name. So he performed an experiment in which
Mm.
he, there was an old dying man, and he put him in कांच के केज में. It was kind of box. So when the man died, वो कांच सारा टूट गया. And then the scientist claims that the soul couldn't be captured and the soul went away.
Yeah.
This was one thing I just read somewhere, and another thing was that there was a man. तो उसने कुछ लोगों को as a sample लिया. He took few person, few dying, like they were about to die. So yeah, that doctor, the scientist, he took them as sample, and he weighed their body weight. And जब they died, तो उनका कुछ ग्राम कम हो गया था सबका. और वो जो कुछ कम हुआ था वो सबका वो सेम ग्राम था, ऑलमोस्ट लगभग सेम था. So he also proved that the soul has some weight also. So this is
Okay.
I read somewhere, but I don't know how authentic it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about some more authentic things. Okay, which we can really trust. Okay. Let me go. I know I see some hands raised, but let me still revise. I know Atikesh knows the answer maybe. Yeah, because he was there last time. Okay. Nonetheless. Okay. So let's talk about this. These are the four things we'll talk about. And let us talk about the first one. First one is not very common, which is called common sense, right? So by common sense, also we know that the soul exists. By the way, like when somebody dies, what do you say? He passed away, is what we say, right? What passed away really? What was there which passed away? Okay, and this is not only the English thing. In Hindi we say कि वो चले गए. In Marathi we say te gela. I mean, in Gujarati we say gujari gaye, right? Think about any language. Just think about what it is called in your language, right? Some or the other way. So something has moved away, right? Something has passed away. Something was there which passed away. So we know kind of that yes, it is something which passed away, and this is just common sense. Just by our own understanding, we know that something was there which moved away, because of which this person is dead, right? And even we also know that we are different than this body. Okay, when I say my hand, I don't say I hand. I don't say that I am this hand, right? When I say my hand, it is something like my phone, right? Which means phone is different, I am different, right? And the phone belongs to me. So here what I am saying is hand is different, I am different, and hand belongs to me. This is what I am saying. I see through my eyes. Okay, it means there's somebody who's seeing through these eyes, right? I don't say that I am my eye, right? So just think about that language thing. I mean, even with that, we clearly know that I am different from this body. Okay, and there is something which moves away, because of which the body goes dead. And there are so many things which are just from the common sense we can prove that, oh, there is something else, there's something different from this body. The body and I are not the same, right? Uh, yeah. So in fact, the second thing is consciousness. Okay, this consciousness is interesting. If a camera sees a red light, right? If you show a red light in the camera and you teach the camera somehow that, oh, whenever you see the red light, you should say that I see a red light. Okay, so the camera will be able to say that. But if the same person, a real person, sees a red light, he will have some memories. He'll maybe have some happy memories or sad memories of the time when he saw the red light last time. And these memories don't come in the camera or a computer or any dead element, right? This memories, these desires, these things are only uh, peculiar about the living beings, and this is not just in humans, by the way, right? If I'm sitting in front of this laptop and I give you a lecture of 15 hours, right, you will start hating me as a living person, but this laptop will not hate me. It will not have that hate or anything, right? Again, I give an example of humans, right? Think about a bull, right? A bull, if I starts pulling that bull, after few kilometers the bull will sit down, and it will say that it will not move. It will clearly indicate that it will not move. Now that thing comes from a living person, right? A motorcycle will not do this kind of behavior with me. As long as there is petrol, it will keep on running, right? So the living persons have something which is different than a dead thing, okay, and that is called consciousness. So what is consciousness? Consciousness is the thinking, feeling, willing, and the intentionality that we have. These are the things which define the consciousness of a person, and that is common across everything, not just moving animals, but even plants. Okay, you keep a plant in a dark room and you just keep a window open with some light, and you will see after a few days that the plant will start moving towards that light, right? So even the plant understand that it is supposed to move towards the light. Where does this consciousness comes from, right? So consciousness as, and what is the relationship between consciousness and the soul, by the way? So and it is simple to understand, right? Like if you are not able to see the sun, but you just see sunlight, you are able to figure out that, oh, the sunlight is there, it means the sun is also there, right? So similarly, if the consciousness is present, you can clearly say, you can authentically say that the soul is present there, because the consciousness is there. So the consciousness is like soul shine. Like there's a sunshine, there's a soul shine, and that soul shine is consciousness. Okay, and this is sort of a proof that the soul exists, and scientists have done experiment around it. Okay, and they can clearly see that not just humans, but animals, but plants, all of them show something different than a dead matter, right? I hope it is clear so far. Any thoughts, question? Okay, all right, we move further. Okay, and the third one that we talked about last time is the NDE and
Maybe
OBE.
I have maybe sorry to interrupt now. I
Yeah.
have some different opinion. I don't know whether it will be correct or not. Maybe I'll ask you if you have a time, we can take it offline. So what I feel, whatever this conscience, common sense would be there, right? So whether how it will be get related, like if you see mind or the memory or the feelings,
Hmm.
actions, okay, karmas.
Mhm.
So how it get relating with the soul and then this one. If soul feel the sorry, the happiness, or our mind is feeling the happiness or sorry.
Yeah. So okay. So to keep it simple, let's not.
Maybe you take it
No,
take
no,
it later
no, no.
also.
I can
This
just
is
try
I
to.
have a doubt.
I got the point. Okay. So the thing is, what we are doing.
Because why I asked, the soul is there, that you told the feel, but how the soul is get related with the happiness or the sorry
I will explain that.
any of the feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll explain that. Okay, have patience. I mean, just be with me. Okay, while the
yeah.
way we are going,
Just put
we
my
are just
question.
going
No,
step by
no
step.
need to explain now. Yeah.
I
Just put my way.
Yeah, I got the question. I'll answer that. Don't worry. I'll answer it within this
Okay,
session.
thank you.
Okay. So yeah, the point I'm trying to make is, I'm just trying to explain this scientifically, that okay, scientists have even figured out that the soul exists because the consciousness exists. We'll define the soul. Don't worry. We'll define what soul is. Okay, just hold on with me. The third thing is called NDE and OBE. So NDE is like the near death experience, and OBE is the out of body experience. So it is interesting data which says, like, 11 to 14% of people have experienced, Americans have experienced OBE. Now what is NDE, by the way? Like, you must have heard or read somewhere, or you can Google it. You will find hundreds or thousands of cases where people were almost near death and they came back to life, and then they were able to narrate things which were very interesting. That, oh, they were able to see a doctor who was operating them. They were able to see things around them, right? Now who was that person who was actually up observing the doctor? There was something else, right? You're not this body. Okay, it was not the body that was observing it. Similarly for OBE, OBE is the out of body experience. through some practices, people are able to go out of their body, and scientists have done experiments on this, where they actually, these people, they go out of the body, and they're able to figure out, oh, what is being placed in the next room, or what is there outside the door, and those things they were able to tell after they came back to the body. And there are a lot of things recorded around it. There are books around NDE and OBE. I mean, if you are in doubt, feel free to Google for it. You'll find lot of cases, okay, and very scientifically proven cases which talk about this NDE and OBE, right? Uh, and there have been lot of research around it. I mean, there have been books which have been written around it, and lot of books, in fact, as I say, right? Just Google for it. If you want some reference, I can share with you. But here it clearly shows that something is there which goes out of the body, and he's able, and they're able to narrate the experience. Okay. And the next one is about reincarnation. So as I talked about, my favorite scientist, this person is called Ian Stevenson. Okay, he used to be a professor of psychiatry in Virginia University. Okay, and this person actually did a lot of research around reincarnation, right? And he was not a bogus person. He's a professor. He was a professor, and around 3,000 cases he understood. He actually read about them, and he tried to figure out of them which are fake cases, which are like, false claims, and which are real. And at least 20 to 30 cases he could figure out which were beyond doubt real cases of reincarnation. Okay. And there are, it's written, you can actually go open on the internet, or you can search for Ian Stevenson. You'll be able to find a lot of authentic data. I'm not presenting something which is which can be doubted later, but this is a real data. Okay, and this person did lot of writings, lot of papers he wrote, lot of books he wrote, so fairly authentic. And reincarnation, I hope you understand, right? That, oh, in the next, there's a person who comes in and he says, he claims that, oh, I was this so and so person in the previous life, and they are able to relate, they are able to narrate the things which are beyond the doubts, totally convincing, right? And you cannot discard them as false claims. So there have been lot of such cases that he recorded, and he figured out very interesting things. Okay, one thing that he figured out is called phobias. So phobias are like fear that we have, fear of height, fear of water, fear of blade or knife. So what he figured out is that these phobias come from the previous life. Okay, and by studying these cases, he figured out that if a person was maybe killed because of drowning, then they would have a phobia of water. Okay, and if a person was stabbed in the previous life and they died like that, then they will have a phobia of a bladed weapon. Okay. Similarly, for phobias of shooting and things like that, that was one thing which he kind of figured out based on his research. Okay. And there is a lot of credible information. Let me know and I'll share a lot of it. The second thing he figured out was about twins. What he claimed is that, see, look at these two twins, right? They're born out of single egg. Okay, born in the same mother's womb, correct? So they're supposed to be similar, but I don't know if you have ever seen, but I have seen some few twins in my life, and they were totally different by nature, completely different. One was very naughty, the other person was very calm and studious and things like that, right? Where does this difference in the nature comes from? Okay, if everything is same, then what makes them different, right? There is something else which also comes in play here. Okay, and I'll come to that thing, by the way. I mean, I know Satish ji has that question, and I'll make it real. Don't worry. Just wait for a few slides. Okay, but there is something which definitely makes them different, right? There is a soul which definitely makes them different. And this was a video that I shared last time in the WhatsApp group, right? About if you have not seen it, it is worth watching. These people were Christians. They never believed in reincarnation, but they had a son called James, and that person, that child started narrating variety of things, okay, about the fighter planes. And then he also started saying, Japanese are killing me, Japanese have bombed me, and things like that. And when they actually figured out, they realized that there was a pilot called James in the Second World War who was actually bombed by Japanese, and he died. And things like that. Like just go watch this video. It's a interesting watch. It's there in YouTube also. I think I shared a YouTube link only. right? Fairly credible. This book called Soul Survival is also written on this particular child. Okay, so these are the things which are credible information, sort of beyond the doubt. This was another thing which we talked about. Ian Stevenson actually, so it's not just outside, but also in India and also outside and things like that. This is an interesting story and very well documented. This story was even discussed in Parliament, so it was even recorded in the proceedings in Parliament. So this girl called Sukla Gupta, I mean, she claimed that in the previous life she was another woman called Mana, and she actually narrated things, so many things that Ian Stevenson recorded. Okay, and those things clearly proved that this girl is the reincarnation of Sukla. Okay, so the interesting story. Last time we talked about it. Will not go too much in detail. If you are interested, I can share this story in detail. But it's a recorded story. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make here is that all of this actually kind of sort of proves that the soul is a real entity. There is something which moves across the body. Whatever we have heard since our childhood, that oh, there is a Janma and Mrityu, there is like reincarnation type of things. Those things have been proven by scientists. It is not a ethereal concept, by the way. Okay, that is the only point I'm trying to make here. And it is not that just people, the spiritualist or religion people who are associated with this believe in soul. I mean, there are these scientists. I shared this, I think, this set of quotes where the scientists actually believed, like Socrates and Benjamin Franklin and people like them, they believed that the soul actually exists. Okay, and does it make sense? Are you convinced? Do you want more proofs that there is something which exists, by the way, which goes from life after life? Is that okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, cool. So let's go to the next one. And this one also we talked about. uh, I'll just sort of skip it quickly in the interest of time, but the point we discussed already, that there is a difference between a computer, a robot, and a real human, right? Camera, if it is watching a movie, it will have no emotions, no experiences. But if a judge is watching, they will feel anger, they will feel sorrow, they will feel pain and things like that, right? So those things are not seen in a dead matter, right? No consciousness is there in a camera, or no judging is there in the camera, right? So that thing is different, right? In fact, this person is Srila Prabhupada. He's the founder of ISKCON. And when he was asked by a person, right, that our body is just a complex machine, doesn't it? Isn't it all, right? There is no soul or anything like that. Why should we bring soul here? And what he answered was that, oh, have you ever seen a male and female car unite and create a baby car, right? And he said that any living person, any living being undergoes 6 changes, but the matter, it just uh, deprecates, right? It just rots and that's it, right? So a living body goes through these 6 changes, and the soul is the one which makes the body alive. That is the living force. Okay, so yeah, and these are those 6 changes. I'm just slightly quickly going there so that we can cover today's topic also. So essentially, if you observe any living entity, they go through birth, growth, maintenance. Maintenance meaning, like, oh, you have to maintain your body, and the production of byproducts, like child, right? And the dwindling, that is, you go old and then you death. The 6th one is the death. And any living entity goes through this, but the matter doesn't goes through a birth, growth, and things like that, right? So the point is, and the presence of soul in a body actually makes a difference. If the soul is not there, the same matter will not behave like the way it is. Okay, now let's talk about a prominent question, and in fact today's point, right? Before that, let me recite a verse. Okay, the verse comes in Bhagavad Gita, and it's not there in the slide, but let me still recite it. So the verse goes like this: Bhumirapo anal vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti amme bhinna prakriti ashtada. So what it says, there are 8 elements. It says Bhumi, earth; Apo is water; Anal is fire; Vayu is the wind, right? Kham is the ether or the space, you call it, right? So earth, air, fire, water, and ether. These are the 5 things, right? They're gross things. Gross meaning you can see and feel them, touch them sometimes, right? So they are the gross elements. And then there are 3 things more. And those 3 things are called subtle elements or the sukshma sharir. Okay, so those subtle elements are ahankar, uh, uh, kham, mano, buddhi, evacha, meaning man, buddhi, and ahankar. Okay, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So these are the 3 things which are subtle, and all of them are matter. This is what this verse says, that these 8 things are matter, which is covering the soul. Okay, we usually talk about those 5 elements, but there are 8 really as per Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and those 8 things make up a body, like the body that we see. So the 5 things, the gross things, are earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then there are subtle things called mind, intelligence, and false ego. Okay, I'll explain what are these. Okay, and then comes a soul. So far, so good. Is it okay? And so let me explain more. So when when you are dead, these are the 5 things, the gross things. They are the ones who you burn, because they are the things that you can burn, right? You cannot burn anything else that you don't see. Okay, and the mind, intelligence, and false ego is the thing which are subtle, right? And then there is the eternal knowledge and bliss. What is this? Okay, so have you heard this word called Satchidanand? Anybody who heard this word, Satchidanand, right? Yeah, so Satchidanand meaning Sat, Chit, and Anand. Okay, so Sat means eternality, Chit means knowledge, and Anand means bliss. So the soul has these 3 characteristics called eternality, knowledge, and bliss. And you can experience it in common sense, by the way. Like, as I said, all of us feel that we are never going to be dead, right? Where does that feeling of eternality comes from? That feeling of eternality comes from soul. And knowledge, oh, we are all knowledge seeking, right? I mean, you want to know what is happening in the next door neighbor. You want to read all the newspaper of the world, what is happening in Afghanistan and Palestine and Libya, right? You don't even have ever been there to those countries, but you still want to know everything, right? Where is that knowledge seeking thing comes from? And bliss, oh, we all know that we are bliss seeking. We are pleasure seeking beings. That is a common sense thing, right? We all know. And where that feeling comes from? So all these 3 things is the characteristic of the soul. Now what happens is that soul is covered by a subtle body, right? Let's talk about those subtle things one by one, right? So first comes the layer of false ego. Now why is it called false? Why not ego only? So ahankar is translated as false ego. Why? Because this is a layer which makes us gives us a false feeling that I am not a soul, I am this body. We all think that we are this body, right? Nobody thinks that they are a soul. And that feeling comes from this ahankar. That is the lowest covering and the subtle most covering. And that gives us this feeling that we are really a person so and so, Mr. So and so. Okay. And on top of it, there is a layer of intelligence. Now, what is this intelligence? This intelligence, think of it is as a decision making things. Okay. That is this right or is this wrong? And then comes the mind. And mind is like a storehouse of experiences. What I mean is that last time you ate gulab jamun and you really liked it. Okay. Now this time when you see gulab jamun, what you want to do is that, your mind will say, okay, I want it because last time it was very tasty, right? And the intelligence may say that, oh, I don't have the money, right? And the mind may say, no, but I want to eat gulab jamun no matter what, right? You figure out. And then the intelligence, if the intelligence is not powerful, the intelligence will say, okay, let me go steal the money from someone, or let me go steal the gulab jamun from someone. Okay, so this is how they behave. They are like, yeah, it is not supposed to be like, don't take it in a literal sense, but like husband and wife. Okay, the wife goes to a shopping complex and she wants to buy a sari, but the husband says that no, I don't have money, right? But the wife says, I really want that sari, and things like that, right? That kind of discussion happens between the mind and intelligence. Now, whoever is more powerful wins, right? most of the time, because our intelligence just gives up, the mind wins. Okay, and this is how the subtle body works. Okay, so far so good. Does it make sense? Now, is it okay so far? Then I'll go further.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if this much is clear, then what happens at the time of death, by the way? Let's try to understand that. That will make the picture clear. So what happens is that, suppose you are watching a TV, okay, and you are totally engrossed in watching that TV. Okay. And then suddenly I move the TV from this part of the room to that part. Now, what will happen is you will also move along with the TV, because you are totally, completely absorbed in watching the TV. And this is what happens with when you are dead. Okay. At that time, the soul is totally engrossed in believing that he is that body, and the body is taken away. Okay. And the soul moves. And when the soul moves, the mind, intelligence, and ego also moves along with the soul. So soul in this material world, it never exists without this subtle covering. Okay. And then the soul gets the next body. And when it goes to the next body, it goes along with mind, intelligence, and false ego. So now what happens? Interesting things happen because of this. So what happens is, because mind has stored all the previous desires, so you get the similar desires in the next body. Because the mind has also stored all the experiences, you actually feel. See, you have heard previously, right, that when the reincarnation happen, people actually get to remember their things. They get phobias. Where does these phobias come from? Phobias come from because in the previous life you experienced something, and that same experience, you are worried about that experience now. So this worry comes from the mind. Okay. So not just in this life, but in the next life also, you get the similar desires, similar phobias, similar pain that you carry along with you, life after life. Okay. And there are so many of proofs for around this particular concept. Not just what we have heard, but more than that. Right. If you see about child progeny, right, some kids are really more intelligent than the others. Some kids are able to get things. I don't know. I was reading somewhere. 8-year-old kid actually got a university degree somewhere in some country. Right now, where does that intelligence comes from? That intelligence comes from sometime the previous life. Right. It's the same thing that you're carrying life after life. By the way, with the same desires, with the same experiences, with the same pain, and things like that. And that is what you carry around with you. Okay. So the subtle body goes along with you. At this point, yeah, any other thought which comes to your mind around this concept, which I can clarify? Yeah, Anukriti ji, please.
हाँ जी, तो मेरे दिमाग में ये आ रहा कि चलिए ये तो बात होगी उन बच्चों की जिनमें जिनकी सोल को वो मेमोरी याद है, बट मोस्टली ऐसा होता है कि लोगों को अपनी मेमोरी भूल जाती है, मतलब प्रीवियस लाइफ का नहीं याद होता। हम लोग कैसे जान सकते हैं हमारा क्या प्रारब्ध है, या हम क्या थे और हमने कहाँ तक क्या किया? हम अगर मतलब जो हमने सीखा था बेसिकली, not everything, not all the incidents which happened, but होता है ना कि सोल भी, क्योंकि आप कह रहे हैं कि सोल भी, और ये तो प्रूवन भी है कि हमारा सोल भी सीखता है ना धीरे धीरे, तो मतलब उनकी भी अपनी मेमोरीज होती हैं, तो हम अपना कैसे जान सकते हैं?
Yeah, कैसे is a different question, but why is a bigger question, right? Suppose I tell you that you were a cow last life, and you were killed mercilessly, okay, and in front of your calf, and those calves were crying. Will you be able to eat the dinner tonight? Right? Just think about that. If I tell you ki, right, you were a soldier and you got shot in a battlefield, and you had an old parent who actually died because when they heard about you and things like that, will you be able to feel happy?
No.
So the point
that
is that
I totally understand.
Right. So this is a material.
That I totally understand.
Yeah. So the reason. So hear me out completely. So it is the material nature's way of actually, because see, understand soul. Why the soul is here in this world is to seek pleasure. We are trying to enjoy in this entire world. life after life we are trying to enjoy. And if you get to know the previous lives, all the 50 million lifetimes that you have gone through, maybe you will not be able to enjoy. So it is a nature's way of actually wiping out these particular experiences from your mind so that you can enjoy. Now, why is there a way to know about previous life? Some people claim to have those ways. Some people really remember them also, by the way, right? And they are like exceptions. They are not norm, right? This world will be a really not a very good place if everybody remembers that what they were in the previous life, right? So in fact, it's for our own good that we don't remember that, is what I'll say, right? You'll not be happy hearing those memories for sure, right? If you get to know that a person next to you whom you love so much is actually the person who killed you last life, right? You'll not be happy about it, right? So why do you want to know about it? I think it's good that we don't know really, but it can be experienced. You can clearly see based on what comes out, because those exceptions, what they teach us, we can clearly make out that yes, there is something else which happens. The body is not everything is over when the body is dead, right? Something else also happens here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because just tell me.
Yeah, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have this question from long time that I understand that soul carries the subtle body with it. So,
Hmm.
like with our materialistic understanding, we have that intelligence need a place to store. Like mind also have memories. So, like soul is very minute in size. That also we learn from the scriptures. So, how is that we store such a large amount of data or our like memories or something in such a small space?
Oh, space. Okay. No, no, it is not like that. Okay. See, I'll tell you what. It is simpler than this. I mean, from our soul, we actually have all the knowledge. When I say that soul's characteristic is knowledge, it means that knowledge of everything. And our traditional way of understanding that, oh, if the room is big, then we can store so much in this room, may not apply basically. Okay. And it is more about like as okay. I'll tell you like something because you asked. Go and read the 13.1 to 13.3 in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Krishna asks, Arjuna asks a question. What is Kshetra and what is Kshetragya? Okay. I mean, I'm just deviating from that, but just, we can discuss offline. But the point I am trying to make is
Sure,
that,
Prabhuji.
yeah, we can discuss offline, I think. But the point I am trying to make is that the 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 there is the soul, as long as it is pure, okay, as long as it is detached from this body, it can have a lot more knowledge than we can imagine. Okay, the soul is by its nature is knowledge. It has all the knowledge, and it doesn't need any external element to get the knowledge. Okay, I'll be able to explain better in the offline when we discuss.
Yes, Prabhuji. So one smaller question again related to it. So if the soul is all knowledgeable, we know who God is, what is our relationship with God. So because of the false ego, we like separate from Him.
Yes, I will actually explain that part in a subsequent session when we talk about the spiritual world. Okay, when we talk about that part, like why does this soul came here in the first place, right? Oh, we're talking about soul, but from where this soul came from, and where what is it supposed to do? What is it trying to do here? Life after life, is it going to be here always, or is there some other place from where this soul belongs to? Okay, so we'll try to understand that part in a subsequent session. Okay, otherwise it will become too much of discussion here. That's why will not club it, and
Okay,
we'll
Prabhuji. Yeah,
sure
thank
we
you.
have a separate
Hare
session
Krishna.
completely dedicated to that. Thank you. Okay, all right. Yeah, so I hope this slide is clear, right? That there is a gross body, there is a subtle body, and then there is a soul. Okay, and this is like the ABC of spirituality. Without understanding this, there is no spirituality, by the way. Okay, thumbs up. We move ahead. Okay, all right. Yeah. So as I explained, intelligence is the decision maker, right? It is the thing which actually makes the decision. This is right, this is wrong, right? Now, what gives intelligence power? We'll talk about how it makes the decision. And the mind is just the storehouse of thoughts. I mean, think of mind as a 1 or 2 year old child who just wants to touch everything, who just wants to experience everything, and things like that, right? That is how the mind is. I want to eat this, I want to eat that, I want to do whatever, right? If the mind likes it, it will store it somewhere. And the next time, mind will again want to do the same thing. And this keeps on happening with the mind, right? It's the intelligence job to control it. This is how the subtle things work, right? And then on top of the mind, there are these five senses. Okay, and then there is a ear, eye, nose, tongue, and skin. And mind wants to enjoy using these five senses. That is the only way that the mind can enjoy, right? So what it tries to do is, and think about it, right? And these senses are like they keep on looking for pleasure always. The tongue always want to eat something sweet or sour or whatever it is, right? And the eyes always want to see a good shape, whatever they want to see. Nose always want to smell something. Ear always want to hear about yourself, something good or whatever, right? And that's what it is. And mind, of course, wants to experience that pleasure. Okay. And usually what happens is that intelligence is not very powerful. Let's come to reality, right? And because of which the intelligence gives up. Whatever minds ask for, intelligence says yes. And then that's what you keep trying to do, but you don't get the pleasure. Now, there is another way of understanding it. Is like if the intelligence would have been powerful enough, then it could have said, no, no, right? You have diabetes, so you should not eat sweets. You don't have money, so you should not do this, right? This is a time to study, so let's not watch TV, right? But for that, intelligence need to be powerful. I'm not talking very rocket science things. I'm just talking about very basic things, right? We all understand that yes, this is a time to study, this is a time to watch TV. But think about that person, that child who wants to watch TV. Or if you make him study, even then he'll be just thinking about that TV. Okay, his mind will not be there. That's what we say, right? That your mind is not there in the studies. So the mind is just contemplating. So if we are able to now, for the question, how are we able to understand? Store more information is like when the senses are controlled and when the mind is in control. If the intelligence is able to control the mind, calm down the mind, right, and control the senses, then miracles can happen. I mean, you can do wonders with the same set of space that you have in your brain, so called, right? But it's not the brain, by the way. I can very easily prove in some other session. We can prove that the brain is not the one which is making you work. Okay. Is it okay what we are discussing? Again, because it's a virtual session, right? I get into trouble and a lot of people have their cameras off. Maybe people don't like me and they just turn on off their camera sometimes in between. Okay, I don't have any way to figure out, folks. So help me understand if it's going good or bad for you. Okay. Yeah, Anukriti, you have a hand raised.
I'm so sorry. I have another question.
Yes.
तो मेरा सवाल ये है कि
understand the soul, right? Maybe.
Okay. So मेरा सवाल ये है कि अगर एक बार मुझे किसी ने कहा, कुछ I had few incidents, तो कुछ experiences हुए, तो किसी ने मुझे कहा कि मैं पिछले जन्म में बहुत पूजा पाठ करती थी। तो इस जन्म में आई एम लाइक 30 नाउ और मेरा पूजा पाठ में सच कभी कोई इतना मन नहीं लगा, इतना कि मतलब मैं बहुत आई एम रिलीजियस बट बहुत ज्यादा पूजा पाठ करना या रेगुलर करना ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं। सो इस जन्म में लाइक आई एम रियली इंटरेस्टेड इन नोइंग अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स कि सोल क्या है, ये क्वेश्चंस है, आई एम क्यूरियस। सपोज मैंने इस जन्म में फिर पूजा पाठ किया और मतलब अपने आप को कुछ जान लिया मैंने, फिर मैं मर गई और अगला जन्म होगा, तो क्या मुझे ये चीजें याद रहेंगी या मैं भूल जाऊंगी, क्या होगा? मतलब मुझे अपने पिछले जन्म का पूजा पाठ अगर मैं बहुत करती थी, सपोज मैं एक बहुत ज्यादा रिलीजियस इंसान थी, तो इस जन्म में ऐसा क्या हो गया कि आई एम नॉट दैट मच इनटू पूजा पाठ?
Yeah, so see, I'll tell you what, like ये जो पूजा पाठ है ना,
Hmm.
So first leave all of that, and then let's start from the basics. So
Mhm.
Vedanta Sutra, last time maybe I talked about that, but the first verse of Vedanta Sutra says Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Okay.
Hmm.
And what it means is Atha means therefore. So Athato Brahma Jigyasa means therefore let's inquire.
Hmm.
Why does this sentence starts with therefore? That question should be asked, right? No sentence in English starts with therefore. And that is the first verse
Hmm.
of Vedanta Sutra. It says, therefore, let's inquire. Now, why it says that is because it assumes that you are a human. Because you are a
Hmm.
human, so you should inquire.
Hmm.
Okay, you should ask question. Why am I suffering?
You must you
Right?
must be having curiosity.
You should have curiosity, right? Abhi,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, think about a cat. A cat, if you just show if you beat that cat, what she will do is like she'll run
Hmm.
away. But if there is somebody
Hmm.
who just beats you from behind, you will not run away. The first question you will ask is, "Kaun hai wahan pe? Who's there?" Right?
Hmm.
So as humans,
Correct.
we are supposed to ask this question. Unfortunately, we have stopped asking these questions. We have we have been told, right? Ki, "Arey, there is a happiness when you grow up. There is a happiness when you become an engineer. There is a happiness when you get married. There is a happiness there when you get a child. Things like that, right? We're just running after this happiness, but the happiness we never get. If you think deeply, there is no difference between a human and an animal that way. Okay, the humans eat and animals also eat, right? Humans sleep, animals also sleep. Humans procreate or enjoy, animals also enjoy, right? And human try to defend themselves when they are attacked. Animals also try to attack and defend, right? So these are the four things which are completely common, and this is
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
keep on doing all the time, right? That colleague of mine is actually trying to harm me, so I will try to harm that colleague, right? Or I will get a better house where I can sleep, or I will get a better facility where I can enjoy, right? I will try to
Hmm.
like that. This is what I want to get, eat better. Animals also try to eat better. So there is no difference between these four things. So what
Hmm.
scripture says, this is a verse from scripture which says, Ahar nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanya etat pashubhe narana धर्मो हि तेषाम् अधिको विशेषो धर्मेण हीना पशुभिः समाना. So basically it says ahar nidra bhaya maithun. Ahar is
Hmm.
eat, right? Nidra is
Eating.
mating. Bhaya maithun means like the defending and mating, right? So eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Samanya
Hmm.
meta pashubhir samana. And it means it is common between a human and an animal. There is no difference between a human and animal in terms of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, right? And then what it says is dharmo hitesha adhiko vishesho. The inquiry, the dharma, what is explained here is that dharma is not puja part. The dharma is inquiring about a higher truth. Okay. Is
Oh.
Vishesho. I mean, and dharmena hina pashubi samana. Without that, you are like an animal. So if you don't inquire, that is the first thing we should do, right? That we should ask this question: Why am I suffering? Right? I mean, forget about this puja part first thing. I mean, like leave aside whatever you learned so far. Okay, and we'll go to all of that. I promise, and we'll go through this journey in a scientific way. Okay, with by answering
Mhm.
all the questions
Mhm.
in a rational way, without being irrational
Mhm.
about any of this. Okay, so the point
Mhm.
I'm making is that we should ask this question. Start from there. Now, coming to your bigger questions about oh, will I remember it in the next life? Maybe you won't, but it doesn't matter. Okay, maybe because last time in the last life you did something good. That's why you are sitting in this session, and we are restarting this thing. Where you left in the last life. Okay, maybe next
Mhm.
life you'll again restart from the same place, right? Or from the next level of the place, right? So don't worry
Mhm.
about that. But in the Sanatan Dharma, we actually don't. I mean, this is a misconception that we have to do puja part or something. If you actually read scriptures, they start from asking the question. If you read Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was asking question and Krishna was answering. If you read any Upanishad,
Mhm.
right? There was a shishya who was asking a question and the guru was answering, and this is how it
Hmm.
used to be, right? So we should ask question. That's what I have been asking you people again and again, right? Please ask question, please challenge me, right? Then we'll have a better discussion. It is not supposed to be a one-way communication. It is supposed to be, we ask question, get our doubts clarified, and then we practice what we learned, and then we get more doubts, and then we ask more questions. Okay, and that's how we grow, and that's how we grow further. Okay. Yeah, Megha,
Okay.
this one.
So basically, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Wherever you have left, you start from there in the spiritual
Yes,
path.
yes.
So is it possible that that also gets reset and we start from zero?
No, no, we don't. It doesn't happen like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen like that. That is a promise made. I mean, and there are a lot of proofs around it. Right? It's a separate advanced topic, but there are a lot of proofs around it that you don't start from the where you left off. I mean, there are some real reincarnation incidents which happened. I can share them with you, where people actually could relate to their previous life and where they left and they started from there. Okay. Uh, yeah. It's a slightly advanced topic. Will not go here in this session. But yeah, no, it doesn't happen. I mean, it's written in Bhagavad Gita, and this has been proven also. Scientifically, it has been proven. Right? People have experienced that. Let me move further. We have 7 minutes. That's okay. Yeah, and this is how it looks like. Okay, so that we have 5 senses, and then we have a mind, and then we have an intelligence and a soul. Right? So the senses are like wild horses, and they're running in all the directions, in different directions. Right? And the mind is that rope through which the intelligence is trying to control the soul, is trying to control the senses. But what happens is that these senses are wild, and the intelligence is weak. So the intelligence is not able to control the senses. And the senses, all these 5 horses are running in different directions, and they are all trying to confuse the chariot. Right? The soul is not very happy with whatever is going on. But this is what is the reality. This is what is happening here. Any thoughts, any questions? Okay. Does it make sense, right? I think we already talked about this particular thing. Yes, Satishji, please go ahead.
My understanding is little clear. So like this mind religion, our soul, know our soul. To
Sorry, your
understand
voice is not very clear. Is anybody able to hear, Satishji? Your voice is not very clear.
It's breaking. It's
Yeah,
breaking.
it's breaking. I think you have an internet issue or something. Okay. Anyways, you can keep your question with you. We can discuss offline. You can call me if required. We can discuss it further, if that makes sense.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So okay, what I'm saying here, the diagram that I'm drawing, anything that I'm saying, by the way, is scriptural. I'm not making it up myself. Nothing is made up here, right? And I can talk about the Bhagavad Gita verses or verses from other scriptures on whatever I'm saying, and this can be experienced also. Your senses are the one which are driving you, by the way. And if you are not able to control it, you get into trouble. And you can experience it for a child. The child, when he's a small child, who you ask them to study, but what they do is they want to watch TV, right? So their senses are the ones which are making all these trouble for them. So the senses and mind, if not controlled properly, creates a lot of trouble. That is the only point to understand here in this slide, right? And it's obvious, no rocket science here, I believe. Yeah, and this is yes, yes, Megha.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I know there is no time left. Just one thing, like when we see people around struggling with their senses, we are all struggling. But when we clearly see and we want to, enlighten them and give that knowledge, I mean, it can be hurting for especially elders. So we can only just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can very
Let's
soft.
discuss it. That is the question I understand clearly is people are struggling and what can we do? How can we help them? Right. Bring them to this session and we'll talk to them. Yeah. That's one thing I can think of.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Let's go ahead. Yeah.
स्वामी जी,
Sorry.
सॉरी, एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन,
Yeah.
क्योंकि टाइम इज रनिंग आउट। सो सबका अपना अपना परसेप्शन है, सबकी अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है। मैंने देखा है कि लोग जो ये श्लोकास भी होते हैं और जो ये सब होते हैं, लोग फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं, लोग शेयर करते हैं, बट सब अपनी अपनी लाइफ के एक्सपीरियंसेस पे उनकी अपनी मीनिंग होती है, सब अपनी कन्वीनियंस के मीनिंग पे वो करते हैं। जैसे कि आपने मुझे कहा कि मे बी जैसे आपने मुझे अभी बताया कि क्यूरियोसिटी होना बहुत जरूरी है, प्रश्न पूछना बहुत जरूरी है, वी शुड हैव क्वेश्चंस। सो तो मेरे लाइक आई डोंट नो, बट मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो पहला थॉट आया वो ये आया कि मे बी आई वाज क्यूरियस, प्रीवियस बर्थ में आई वाज क्यूरियस, और वही क्यूरियोसिटी इस बर्थ में भी कंटिन्यूड है। ये पहला आया, फिर देन मैंने सोचा मे बी इतनी ही मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, अभी शायद मैं वो चीजें नहीं समझ सकती। तो ऐसे ही मैं ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि हम सब, क्योंकि हम सब की अंडरस्टैंडिंग अलग अलग है, तो हम सही मीनिंग कैसे जान पाएंगे?
Yes. Okay. Let's do it like this because we have 1 minute, right? Let me cover this slides and then I'll answer. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah. If you have any questions, let's park it, and after 6:30 we can talk further so that people don't have to wait further. Right? Okay. So this is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. What he says is बंधुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मा येनात्मै वात्मना जिता अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वै वर्तेत 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 मैव शत्रुवत्. So basically what he's saying is that for a person who has actually conquered the mind is the best friend. But a person who is not able to conquer it, the mind is the greatest enemy. It's not a rocket science, right? I believe it's a simple verse to understand, right? So you have to be able to control your mind and senses if you have to be successful in life. There's no other way out, right? There is no other way to be successful that way, right? And as I said, for a controlled mind, it will be your friend. But if it is uncontrolled, it will be your enemy. So it will actually create a lot of havoc in your life otherwise, right? Mind is almost like a knife. I mean, knife cannot be called good or bad. So mind is not good or bad. If it is controlled well, it can save your life. But if it is in a hand of a robber, then probably you're a killer. It can probably kill you, right? So the same knife can save a life or can kill a person. There is nothing good or bad about the knife itself, right? And this is one thing to understand. Do you have 5 more minutes, folks? 5 minutes more. I hope it's okay. If people drop off, I'll revise it again. So, anyways, so this is called GIGO principle, and this means garbage in, garbage out. Okay. So this is what we are doing. I mean, like what the point to understand is how do we nourish our intelligence right now? The way we nourish our intelligence is by giving it from internet, from TV, from in a train we are going, right? Somebody tells us about spirituality and we trust it. From WhatsApp forward, we learn about spirituality. By watching a Mahabharat serial, we learn about the characters of Mahabharat, right? That's how we learn by watching maybe Radha Krishna serial, some such serial I heard somebody was telling me, right? We learn about Radha and Krishna, and so that's how we learn about these things, right? So if you are putting garbage in, then that is what will come out. The life will not change, right? The spirituality is supposed to make us live powerfully and live a life that we love. Okay. It is not about being in any ethereal world, but actually being really able to understand and being able to get out of this world, right? And really have a life that is enjoyable for us. So the point is, because we watch all these crap all over the place, right? Watching TV and internet and all sort of things, we are we are frustrated. Our mind doesn't know what is right and what is wrong. If we instead get into the association, or like get in touch with the right set of people who can tell us that this is the right thing to do, this is the wrong thing to do, they will, your intelligence will become stronger, right? I mean, if you have friends who, I mean, no rocket science here, right? If you have friends who actually tell you that they are getting good grades in their schools, yeah, right, you will get inspired and you would want to do the right thing also, right? You will also want to study more. But if you get in the association of friends who are like who want to bunk the school and they want to go out and all sort of things, you will also do the same thing. So we need to be in touch with the right set of people. That is the first principle. The second principle is books, right? I mean, for Anukriti ji's question, like, oh, we should read the right books and we should read it in the from the right person, a person who can really explain it to us, right? A person who has actually got the explanation from his teacher, right? And that teacher actually got taught by their teacher, not by some Tom, Dick, and Harry just coming us and forwarding us a message, right? We don't even know the source of that message. So if we are reading the right books, if we are associating or being in touch with the right set of people, right, then our intelligence becomes stronger. Then we are able to control the mind and senses. Okay, so that's why it's very, very important to read it from an authentic source. And we'll talk about this authentic source, about this thing in elaborate details in a subsequent session. Okay. But yes, we need to actually nourish the intelligence so that it's able to control the mind and senses, and so that we can really live a life in a more powerful way, right? So yeah, and this is what I was talking about, right? We get our things from the books we read, the movies we watch, the music we hear, and the people that we keep, right? The friends that we keep, right? I think there's a quote, right? You tell me about the friends that you have and I'll tell you the person you are. So it's something like that, right? I mean, it's about what kind of friends do we have and what kind of movies do we watch. So we have to think about it, right? If we really want to have a better life, we really want to control our mind and senses. Okay. And yeah, and this is how it works, right? Between mind and intelligence, right? Mind says, oh, I'm an engineer, smoking is cool, I should smoke. But intelligence says, no, it's a bad habit. Your parents are not going to like it. But with this conversation, the mind wins most of the time. And so you go and smoke, right? So, okay, this is the last section. And we have 1 more minute. Let me just tell you one thing. Why do we need to learn about soul? First thing is that there is a Hindu and Muslim, there is a black and white, there is a rich and poor, there is a educated and illiterate, and you are not happy. There is so much of fight happening in this world around us. But if everybody know that, and oh, there is a beautiful and ugly also, right? But if you know that you are actually a soul, you are not a body, and all of us are souls, then the same set of people, be it Europeans or Chinese or whites and blacks, all of them can be united if they know this one principle, right? That they are all souls. Because then you are the same set of people. You won't hate even a Pakistani or anything of that sort, right? There's all of this is just bodily identification. There is no you're not able to unite yourself, right? If it is like, we talk about universal brotherhood, but we don't have a common father. If you have a common father, then only you can be brothers, right? So the soul, the knowledge of soul actually unites us. That's one good thing which can happen to this world, right? Think about this, right? I mean, like all of them. I mean, so this picture that you see is actually from somewhere in Calcutta, where actually people from 115 countries united to hear about Bhagavad Gita. Okay, few years back, because they all were interested in knowing about the same thing, and they got united. And there's the flags of those countries which are being shown there, right? So yeah, and the other thing that you get is you don't get into inferiority complex. Like, if you're a black or short or ugly or you don't, from the bodily level, you feel that this is it, right? My life is gone because I am useless, because I am short heighted, right? But if you know that, oh, you are actually a soul, then you don't think too much about it. What happens is that you feel you know that, oh, it's okay. I mean, like, even if I am because I'm not this body, I'm different from this body, and I'm a soul, right? There's one incident where actually somebody told about this concept of soul to a lady who was very fat in America, and she said, oh, I feel so relieved I used to think that, oh, my life is really worthless because I'm so fat, and that's the end of my life. But I know that no, this is not it, right? I mean, I'm more than this body, and I can be still happy with if this body is not very interesting, right? So that is the understanding that you get when you know about soul. The other thing is, like, that people, all the jealousy, all the selfishness, all of this, all the arrogance, right? I mean, it goes away, because now that you know that you are not this body, and you are eternal, and so all the good qualities like tolerance and patience, all of them come, right? Because you know that you are not this body, and you are not dead when this body is dead. You are different from this body, right? That feeling of eternality, the feeling of always being there, is awesome, actually. I mean, just think about it, right? um, okay. And then you also know that, oh, I should use the right resources, right? I mean, I should not waste the resources. I should actually love everyone, right? And not just think about earning more and more money, because that is not going to help me. I'm going to be, I mean, this body is going to be dead, right? Whatever I'm collecting right now, it all will be gone, but the soul will always be there, right? So I, as a soul, should actually uh, do it right. And this is the summary, and I'll actually share these slides, these, at least these, some of the slides. I don't want to go over them, but yeah, I'll share these slides, by the way, nonetheless. So okay, now comes to so I hope I ran a bit faster, but was able to make you understand the whole thing. Okay, one thumbs up, I see. Thank you. uh, okay, so yeah, any questions? Now coming to questions, and you can take as much time you want. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody have any questions, please ask. Yes.
Ji, Swami ji.
Yes.
Uh, so I just wanted to ask कि दुनिया में तो वैसे बहुत सारे ग्राउंड्स है डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के, ब्लैक एंड वाइट, रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है, तो यू नो कंट्री लेवल पे है, रिलीजियस एज एन रिलीजन वाइज है. सो क्या स्पिरिट जो सोल होता है, क्या उनमें भी डिफरेंसेस होते हैं?
नो,
नहीं होते. तो फिर अगर उनमें डिफरेंसेस नहीं होते हैं, तो ये जो आत्मा की शुद्धि की बात होती है, इसकी बात होती है कि हम अपनी आत्मा को शुद्ध कैसे करें. जो आई जस्ट हर्ड, लाइक आई सॉ अ वीडियो जिसमें दे वर ट्राइंग टू टेल कि मरने के बाद लोग 10वें में कुछ लोग जन्म ले लेते हैं, जो निकृष्ट चेतनाएं होती हैं, फिर सामान्य चेतनाएं होती हैं, फिर कुछ चेतनाएं होती हैं जो सोल को डिफरेंट बनाता है.
तो वो आपने चेतना सुना, राइट? तो चेतना का मतलब होता है कॉन्शियसनेस. ओके, एंड एज वी डिस्कस, सी, इट इज, it cannot be generalized like that ki soul is impure or pure. Okay, what the problem that as I explained, is the mind, intelligence, and false ego, man, buddhi, or ahankar, that goes along with the soul, and along it goes the desire and variety of other things, right? Now, because of those desires, because of the past deeds that we did, this entity becomes pure or impure. So the bottom line is about, oh, can we purify those desires, right? So that we can elevate ourselves. So that is,
मतलब डिटैचमेंट, मतलब आप डिजायर से मुक्ति पाएंगे.
डिटैचमेंट नहीं,
नहीं,
you can never be desireless. Okay, you can only purify it.
तो ये जो चेतना का लेवल है, जो कॉन्शियसनेस का लेवल है, क्या वो सोल्स को एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट नहीं बनाता?
No, soul as an entity is different. So see, these things are all matter. Okay, the soul, thank you, Swati ji. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, yes, I'll anyway share this recording where you can watch it. I don't want to hold on people. Others, yeah, who wants to leave can leave. Who have questions can feel free to stay. Yeah, but we are done with the main session, by the way. Thank you for attending, everyone. Yes, so coming to this point, see, the soul, think of it as a different entity. Okay, and then, like, there is a car and then there's a driver, right? If the driver is sitting in a big car or a small car, is the driver becomes different? No, right?
Depending on how efficient the driver is,
The purpose for
how
the
talented the
driver is
driver is.
just sitting in a big car and sometimes sitting in a small car.
Hmm.
The driver doesn't become a different person, right?
So the function of the driver, मतलब function उनका है कि उनको drive करना है,
Hmm.
तो हाँ वो that is yeah, that is
It's the
the
same
same.
driver, same person, same
Hmm.
everything, just sitting in a different car. Okay, that's how
Hmm.
think of it like that. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, in this world, soul always moves around with the subtle body. जो सूक्ष्म शरीर है, it
Hmm.
always moves around with that.
Hmm.
और वो सूक्ष्म शरीर is made up
Hmm.
of this mind, intelligence, and false ego, मन, बुद्धि और अहंकार, and because of which those things are the ones which create trouble for us. Okay, because all our past deeds, technically called karma, goes along with that,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Right, and basically they are the ones which create trouble for us, and because of them we are roaming around in this world life after life. Okay, so we can only
So
purify them, because the point is we need to leave these things to be able to get out of this place. Now what is this getting out means, we'll talk about it in subsequent sessions.
तो मतलब मुझे ऐसा अभी तक लगता था कि हम अपनी सोल को प्योर करने के लिए हम ये सब जानने की कोशिश
Soul
कर रहे हैं और
pure.
अ,
Soul is always pure. Soul as a specific entity is always pure. Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and various Puranas actually talk about a lot about soul, like how the soul looks like. So soul in this world is 1/10,000, 1/10,000, the tip of the hair. This is the size.
हम्म
Okay, and it
हम्म
resides somewhere in the region of the heart. Okay, and the soul cannot be cut or burnt or dried or anything of that sort. Soul is like an atomic unit which
एटम
cannot be
यस
broken any further. That is how the soul is. Now it doesn't mean that soul is actually of that size. In this world it is of that size, but outside it is actually like a person, like you and me. The person is soul, that's how it is. Okay, but soul for some reason is here. And think of it like a virtual reality movie, where a
हम्म
game where you wanted to play that game and you were given this virtual reality kit, like something in your hand and legs and in your head. That's how the soul has been given this body, and soul is
हम्म
playing this virtual reality game, thinking that identifying with the game, with the player. Okay, when the player shoots it feels happy, when it's being shot it feels sad, and all that is happening, and that virtual reality game is going on, right?
I saw one Hollywood movie based on the same concept, you know. So there was this thing like it was something like an atom which was full of light. It came from some other world on the earth. It became this small, and then it was looking for body. So there was this movie I saw. I don't remember the name
I
right
don't know
now.
about that movie. If
So
you
मेरा
actually want to watch a movie, go and watch Matrix. Okay, Matrix is a movie.
Matrix. Yes, I have seen Matrix.
Yeah,
Yes,
think
I've seen
about
all
that
the
movie.
parts of
Okay,
it.
um,
Mm-hmm.
that movie. But the point
Okay.
I'm trying to make is I will actually explain this in a more detailed way. I don't want to go all over the place, but I will explain this part in a very detailed way. I will not leave these questions unanswered. Don't worry. Right.
तो अगर मैं ये इस इंटेंशन से अगर मैं गीता के बारे में जानना चाहती हूँ या सोल के बारे में जानना चाहती हूँ कि मैं इस जन्म में अपने कर्मों को इस बेहतर बना के अगले जन्म में बेहतर लाइफ मिले क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि मरने के बाद मुझे फिर एक लाइफ मिलेगी एंड दैट इज द होल सर्कल व्हिच इज नॉट नेवर एंडिंग तो क्या ये सही है? क्या ये ऐसी सोच रखना या ऐसी नीयत के साथ ये पूरा सेशन अटेंड करना या इस बारे में खोज करना, क्या ये सही है?
So, अगर आपको, if you want to find why we are attending this session, is what we are doing is that we are actually trying to understand this whole thing in a scientific way. ठीक है,
हुँ, हुँ।
नॉट इन अ वे जैसे पूजा पाठ में कथा वगैरह होती है, बिकॉज दैट
हुँ,
वे
हुँ।
वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इट. ठीक है, ऑल
हुँ,
ऑफ
हुँ।
अस नो इन इंडिया, राइट, कि वी आर सोल एंड दिस एंड दैट, सो मेनी क्रेजी थिंग्स आर नोन टू पीपल, बट नथिंग
हुँ, हुँ।
हैपेंस. हमारी लाइफ में कुछ भी बदलाव नहीं हुआ, right? We are on our same things that we were doing, right? So we actually think that अरे Einstein नहीं, Darwin said that we are coming from monkeys, right? So we think कि अरे we are monkey से आ रहे हैं, right? But scripture says something else, that oh you are coming from these devtas and all that. बट हमें लगता है कि नहीं नहीं, monkeys is what is scientifically proven, so let's prove it scientifically, because if we don't prove it scientifically, then the faith will not be there, and if the faith is not there, no progress is made, right? In fact, if you think deeply, then
Okay.
science and spirituality both are based on faith. Even science is based on faith. Okay, science also assumes many things. Okay, many things like spirituality. So that faith has to be there in science or spirituality. We don't have faith in spirituality, and that is why our life doesn't change. So just be with me. I promise I will. I'll go through all the scriptures, right? Any scriptures that you have heard so far, and try to explain it scientifically. Be it Garud Purana,
स्वामी जी, मेरा
Markandeya Purana,
मेरा क्वेश्चन,
anything else you have heard. Yeah.
ओके, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि अगर मेरी ऐसी सोच है कि मैं इस जन्म में मैं स्पिरिचुअलिटी को थोड़ा बहुत भी जान के और अपने कर्मों को सुधार के और अगले जन्म को और बेहतर बनाने की, मतलब मैं क्योंकि चाहती हूँ, मेरा मोटिव ये है कि मेरे जो नेक्स्ट बर्थ हो वो भी बेहतर ही हो,
नहीं तो मोटिव
जैसे इस जन्म में
ये होना
बेहतर है
चाहिए
ना।
कि नेक्स्ट बर्थ नाउ, दैट शुड बी द मोटिव।
अच्छा, मोटिव ये होना चाहिए, पर वो तो इतनी आसानी से नहीं होगा ना, वो तो कई जन्मों के बाद होगा ना।
नहीं ऐसा कुछ
ये
नहीं
हो सकता है,
हो सकता है।
ये भी हो सकता है कि मतलब मुझे अगले जन्म में मतलब जीवन के चक्र काल में ना बंधना पड़े,
Yes.
क्या ये पॉसिबल है
हाँ बिल्कुल
इसी जन्म के कर्मों से?
पॉसिबल। यस।
वाओ,
हाउ?
ओके,
विल डिस्कस।
नो नो, वाओ, आई सेड वाओ।
Okay, wow.
तो मतलब ये अच्छी, मतलब ऐसा सोचना क्या सही है, मैं ये जानना
हाँ,
चाहती हूँ, क्या
तो
ये
देखिए उम्मीद
सोच,
है
ये
कि
थॉट
we'll
रहना
take
सही है?
birth again. Yes, that's what we should think
हम्म,
about. Yes, the कोशिश यही होनी।
ओके ओके
Yes.
ओके ओके, ठीक है, थैंक यू स्वामी जी।
Okay. Swami, I'm not Swami, by the way. I work in Microsoft.
ओके, आई एम सॉरी।
I'm a normal person like you.
So can I call you Narendra ji, like with your name only? Yeah, okay. So okay, thank you so much, Narendra ji.
Any other question? Anybody?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Nirendra, as Satish said, I raised one question. Maybe in the comment section will be there.
I have questioned whether mind intelligence is hiding to know
Yeah.
or feel our soul. I am.
To whether it's hiding,
Yeah, as I
feel
said,
our
right,
soul.
we have something as false ego. False ego, apart from mind and intelligence, there is a third thing called false ego. Or a false ego makes you feel that you are not this soul. That is the purpose of that false ego. It makes you feel this body. Dekho, if I am giving you a VR kit, right, a virtual reality kit to play a game, right? If you actually feel that no, I am this person, I am not that dinosaur, or I am not that shooter in the game, then you will not get the fun. Okay, then there's no fun for you, right? Because you know that, oh, you are a soul, or this thing that I'm eating is actually just a matter, and I don't get enjoyment from it, right? I'm a spirit which is very different from the matter, right? So something has to be given to you, right? Something has
Yes.
to be given to you so that you actually can enjoy here, and that enjoyment comes by this false ego. Okay, right? Because of
False ego is the one of the three things
Correct.
will be there. We need to leave that to understand or feel our soul.
I'm sorry again.
No, for feel or know our soul, we need to leave our false ego.
I know I'm not able to hear you clearly, but yeah,
Okay.
false ego. Correct. You have to get
I
the.
think I have internet issue. Fine, fine.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we can discuss. You can call me later, as I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other question? Yes.
नीरेंद्र जी, एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन, लाइक पता नहीं ये रिलेवेंट है कि नहीं, वो जो फाल्स ईगो की बात हो रही थी उसी के लिए बारे में, तो ईगो, व्हाट इज ईगो एक्चुअली? क्योंकि मैं हमेशा फॉल्स ईगो या मिथ्या अहंकार के बारे में हम सुनते हैं, अहंकार, झूठा अहंकार, तो इसका मतलब कुछ ऐसी चीज भी है अहंकार जिसमें जो सच है और जो कि वी शुड बी प्राउड ऑफ, वी शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट, राइट?
Yes.
अहंकार, क्योंकि हमेशा हम मिथ्या अहंकार में फंसे हैं, लाइक वी हैव डन दिस, वी
Yes.
कैन डू दिस, वी कैन नॉट डू दिस,
Yes.
सो देयर इज समथिंग गुड अबाउट अहंकार, एंड व्हाट इज दैट?
Yes. Yes. So good about ahankar is to be able to understand our true identity. Right now, we actually have understanding of our false identity, which is that I am this body. As I said, right, when somebody was asking, I said, right, see, I work for Microsoft, right? That is my false identity, my false identification with myself, right? And that is what keeps us roaming around in this world again and again, right? But there is a true identity of this soul. Like what I didn't discuss so far is that what is this soul from? Where is it coming from? राइट, वो आया कहाँ से है ये सोल, और क्या एम था इसका, and if it is coming from somewhere, तो इसका एक, there must be a original place for this soul also, right? Correct. So what is that original place? What is that original identity of this soul? And that is actually to be proud of, by the way. Scriptures tell us कि we are actually, think of it like, हम भगवान के साथी हैं, मतलब साथी मीनिंग वी आर पार्ट ऑफ गॉड. व्हाट इट मीन्स इज कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल फ्रेंड ऑफ कृष्णा, फॉर एग्जांपल काउ ऑफ कृष्णा, फॉर एग्जांपल समथिंग ऑफ समथिंग, राइट? अभी नाउ दैट इज वंडरफुल फीलिंग, अरे दैट, एंड एक्चुअली गॉड हैज अ यूनिक रिलेशनशिप विद ईच ऑफ अस, all of us, okay, individual unique relationship. Now what it means is that there is a lot of love between us and God. This is what scriptures tell us. And that love cannot be fulfilled in this world. You cannot feel happy in this world without experiencing that love. And that is what we are roaming around for. That is the hankering that we are trying to fulfill in this world, which we don't get. ठीक है. So मतलब पॉइंट ये है कि काफी इस क्लास के बहुत ऊपर चली गई बात, बट मैंने बताया कि मतलब मैं इस बारे में बहुत लंबा डिटेल में डिस्कस करूंगा. बट द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज देयर इज अ ट्रू आइडेंटिटी ऑफ अस व्हिच इज समथिंग टू बी प्राउड ऑफ, राइट? दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट वी हैव इज द फॉल्स अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि आई एम मिस्टर सो एंड सो, इतना बड़ा घर है, इतनी सारी कार है, ऐसा वैसा है, वगैरह वगैरह. दिस इज नॉट द राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बिकॉज वी आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दिस बॉडी एंड इट कैन बी साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन. अगर हम बॉडी से डिफरेंट है तो बॉडी की चीजों को लेके अहंकार करना, जिसको हम अहंकार एक कॉमन सेंस में बोलते हैं, घमंड करना, इज नॉट गुड, राइट? बिकॉज they'll all go away after 100 years. None of us in this chat list will be alive, by the way, right? Most likely, I mean, so 200 years, after 200 years, right? Like, don't want to make anybody feel that yeah, right? So because nobody wants to die, right? It's a bad feeling to have. So yeah, after 200 years, none of us will be alive, by the way. So yeah, so why to feel so big about ourselves? But there is a true identity for sure, as scriptures tell us. And yeah, and there's a true happiness also. By the way, like, it's real, can be experienced, can be explained, things like that. Does it explain? Okay, great. All right, any other question? Anyone? People who are staying here, either
question.
yes.
Actually, it comes to happiness, Dhirendra. So there are many things. So we are supposed to be childlike, right? We should find happiness in small things, even small acts, right? Whatever we are doing, whatever we are receiving, and whatever is happening in our lives, we should be as happy as a child, ना? तो खुश होना चाहिए. लेकिन बहुत अधिकतर बार ऐसा होता है कि that we are supposed to be happy when we get good achievements, somebody praises you, and there's a big event happening in your life, है ना? So जिसमें कि generally you are supposed to be happy, लेकिन still you don't feel that happy as you should be happy. लोग सोचते हैं कि आप बहुत खुश हो, लेकिन आप उतने खुश नहीं हो. और मतलब वो बड़ी बड़ी चीजें हो गई, और आपको छोटी छोटी चीजों में भी लोग खुश हो जाते हैं, है ना? तो I'm not able to understand that ki how to be happy like in small things and how to be happy in big things. What is the differentiation कि बड़ी चीजों में भी खुश नहीं होना चाहिए, that comes to the अहंकार part, और छोटी छोटी चीजों में how to be happy, it's so confusing sometimes actually.
Yes, I understand. See, actually the problem that, yeah, thank you Satish ji, thank you. Yeah, so actually the problem with us is that we are here to enjoy, okay? And हमारे साथ क्या होता है ना कि हमें ऐसा लगता है, जैसे कभी आपने देखा है कस्तूरी मृग होता है, right? That deer has that thing in the belly, right? जिसके कारण वो स्मेल आ रही है इतनी अच्छी सी, but the deer keeps on running all over the place searching for that happiness, okay? And eventually dies because of that, just by roaming around. Same is our situation. We have no idea कि what is this happiness really looks like, okay? अगर आप एक फिश को ना पॉन्ड से निकाल दो, सपोज water, say, and you give the fish all sort of cigars, you give good food, you give lot of money, you give whatever you can think of, right? A good movie to watch and all sort of things. Will the fish be happy? Right? No, it will not be happy. It will be happy only when the fish is in water. And that is the situation for us, right? अभी आप किसी 80 years के आदमी से भी पूछोगे ना, 80 years के कि अरे do you have any desires or you are done, I mean have you enjoyed enough? They'll still have a lot of desires, right? I mean they'll still want to have something or the other in life, and that these desires are a big source of trouble for us, like, you know, because they take us to the next life. That is the only explanation why you go to the next life. So it's not about small or big happiness, but it is actually, we don't even know what the real happiness looks like. I mean, we are used to this world so much na ki hame are 3 hours of movie and then a headache after that, or a night party and then in the morning you feel headache and all sort of bad things, right? All that we are used to. Ki, theek hai, thodi happiness aayegi to thoda distress will also come with that. We don't even know how the pure blissful happiness is actually, how it looks like. We have no idea about it, like we have just forgot that. Okay, so we are running for happiness is what I'm trying to make the point, but we don't even know how the real happiness is. If we understand that really, then it's not about small or big. I mean, we'll stop running after this big happiness. Okay, and we'll be able to seek, I mean, find pleasure in small things happening around us also. I don't know, you live in commune, right? I think. Okay, commune. Yeah, right. Yeah. So yesterday in Rajiv's house, we had a small Rath Yatra we did, right? And if you look at this thing, how much of money was spent? Was it really a big opulence that was shown off? No, nothing of that sort happened. But if you would have seen the faces of people, they were really happy. Okay. And that was different than the happiness that you get by spending lakhs of rupees and doing a big function and calling a great movie star to dance for you and things like that, right? We got more happiness than that. So the point I'm trying to say is that it is a lot related with this false ego and all of things, right? Our ego boosting thing, and that's how we think that pleasure comes from, but it is not there. The pleasure is not there. It is somewhere else.
I understand that because of that true like lack of experience of that true happiness, people are not able to enjoy the happiness in small things.
Yeah.
Until they feel true happiness or a glimpse of true happiness, they are not able to find the happiness in small things. They always feel deprived or less satisfied with small things because they have the lack of true happiness, right?
Yeah, we don't even know. I'm saying, like, it's not about seeing the glimpse, but we have no idea how the true happiness is, what it is supposed to be. Okay, happiness should be like uninterrupted, and it should be like, continuous, something like that. And that is the kind of happiness that we want, really. But we have never experienced it also in our life, so we have no idea how to get that, right? एक मूवी का सॉन्ग है, राइट? आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले जहां गम भी ना हो आंसू भी ना हो बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, right? I mean, something to desire, something to think about this song. Is there really some such place where there is no misery, there is no distress? It's just love and love only all over the place, right? That thing is not experienced, not known to us. But I'm saying, like, such things exist, and it can be experienced here and experienced outside this place also. We'll talk about this subject more because it goes into scriptures, and I want to actually go methodically, because otherwise it will go all over the place. It will, but my point that I'm saying, and whatever I'm saying, is like, I can take support of scriptures if required. But the point I'm making is there is real happiness. We stuck in our material desires. We don't even know how to experience this real happiness. We have to get out of these things. We have to get out of these desires. We have to detach ourselves from these things to be able to experience it. Okay, we are so engrossed in our bodily thing. We think, if I'm able to eat some good food, then I get happiness. But that is not true. I mean, you like gulab jamun, you try to eat 50 gulab jamuns, right? Next day you would not want to even eat a single gulab jamun. Even a thought of gulab jamun will not be okay with you. So actually, gulab jamun doesn't give you happiness, hence proof, right? I mean, if you think, my whatever, right? Just think about whatever it is, right? My iPhone will give me happiness if I get iPhone 11. How you get iPhone 11? After 15 days, that happiness is gone from you. You will not find pleasure in this iPhone 11 anymore, right? So hence proof that iPhone doesn't give you happiness. right? So what I'm saying is ki we are just running around in sitting in that chariot of mind and senses, and just trying to run around here and there for trying to find happiness. But the happiness is not with this mind and senses. It is somewhere else. It requires some amount of thinking and some amount of scriptural understanding to understand where this real happiness lies. Is the only thing. Okay, it's a long topic, but of course, as I said, the first question that we should ask is, how can I be happy? Why am I suffering? This is where we should be standing after this session, right? If I am a soul, or whatever it is, why am I suffering here? What's going wrong, right? And then we'll try to answer that. I'll try to answer that for sure. Okay, yeah, Anukriti, you have your hand raised.
और उनके लिए क्या, जिनको लगता है कि आई एम नॉट सफरिंग, मतलब
Yeah.
क्योंकि एवरीथिंग इज नॉर्मल,
Who will see कि मुझे कोई दुख नहीं है, मतलब मुझे तो कोई दुख ही नहीं है लाइफ में, राइट? ऐसे भी लोग होते हैं,
राइट,
राइट?
हाँ है ऐसे लोग,
हाँ, ऐसे होते हैं लोग। अभी पॉइंट ये है कि अभी if you actually see, I mean, not a very good example, but I'll just give you that example is, अगर आप किसी गधे को देखोगे ना, that ass, and उसको सुबह से शाम तक बोझ ढोने को बोलते हैं, शाम को थोड़ी सी घास डाल देते हैं, and that thing is peaceful with that, right? With that small amount of grass put for him, for it, and and there's no problem, correct? And morning to evening, they'll keep on doing the same thing. Think about your life, our life, my life, right? Morning to evening, just working and working, correct? And just being able to eat some small thing, and that's it. We cannot even eat enough because, oh, the weight will increase, or I'll get a heart problem or something like that. And we say that we are happy. You're sitting in a chair, you keep sitting there for 6 hours, you'll start getting back pain, right? Oh, is it really actually uninterrupted happiness that we have it? We have not even thought enough that are we happy or are we distressed? In this world, you try to do anything, right? You try to for anyone, for your friend, you do enough, but what they will do for you, you will not be satisfied with that. यार मेरे लिए उतना नहीं किया जितना मैंने सोचा था कि मेरे बर्थडे पे अच्छा प्रेजेंट देगा, बट नहीं दिया मुझे, राइट? सो दैट हैप्पीनेस, देयर इज नो uninterrupted happiness, and there is not enough reciprocation that you think you will get. You don't get that reciprocation from people कि कितना चाहिए था वो मिलता नहीं, right? So this world, we think, oh, that so there are people who have not thought enough when they say that they don't have any problem. Is the only thing I will say. It's very easy to
एक और चीज, क्योंकि जब भी मतलब मैं लोगों से जब सुनती हूँ अबाउट गीता या उसके पाठ जो भी है, तो हर जगह ये बात जरूर आती है कि वहां पे इमेंस हैप्पीनेस है, अनइंटरप्टेड हैप्पीनेस है। तो मतलब किसी को इस किसी एक सोल के लिए ये डिजायर होना कि उस जगह पे जाना है जहाँ पे इमेंस हैप्पीनेस है, क्या ये लालच नहीं है?
तो ऐसे लालच में क्या बुराई है? देखिए, अगर आप घर के बाहर हो और आपको बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, राइट, तो अभी हम क्या करते हैं, अपने घर पे, राइट, एंड दैट इज अ प्लेस वेयर यू गेट अ नाइस फूड, अ प्लेस टू स्टे, एंड पीपल लव यू, योर फैमिली लव्स यू, राइट? सो इज इट, क्या 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 ये लालच है कि मतलब मैं अपने घर जाना चाहता हूँ, राइट? सुबह जॉब,
तो फिर ये जगह जगह पे ये जो बोलते हैं कि डिजायर ही सारे दुखों का, क्योंकि एक उपनिषद गंगा करके एक सीरीज उस पे आती थी नेशनल पे, और बाकी कई जगह, इट इज नॉट ओनली द वन, जिसमें बोलते थे कि आपके डिजायर ही आपके दुख का कारण होंगे और आपकी खुशी का कारण होंगे। तो क्या डिजायर, ऐसा डिजायर करना क्या हमारे दुख का कारण नहीं बन सकता?
ओके, या Yeah, thank you, Swati. Actually, I'll explain more about that particular concept when we talk about it in our session. हाँ, so basically देखिए, हम लोग ना, मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, मैं आपको एक बोलना चाहता था, बट सेशन के बीच में मैं I promised you, right, कि सेशन खत्म होने के बाद बोलूंगा. So the point to understand is कि there's a ego principle which I explained, right? So हम लोग कहाँ से लेते हैं, that is to be understood. When we want to know about becoming an engineer, then what we do is we go to a good college, right? And we read, we want to study from a good professor, because right, IIT जाते हैं तो वहाँ पे HC वर्मा और बड़े-बड़े professors हैं वहाँ पे, और we want to read from good books, the books that they recommend, and that is the way to become an engineer. अभी spirituality और religion को हमने इतना cheap समझा है ना कि दादी नानी ने जो बता दिया, या रोड चलते किसी ने कुछ बता दिया, या टीवी में एक सीरियल आ गया राधा कृष्णा का तो उसमें देख लिया, कोई तो अजीब सा कुछ आ गया तो
हाँ ये
राइट। सो हमने बना दिया व्हाट्सएप के फॉरवर्ड्स और गूगल सर्च से हम स्पिरिचुअलिटी सीखते हैं। नाउ व्हाट टेकिंग अ same example, right, extending the same example, so what should be done is that if you want to learn about spirituality, then we should go to a right guru, okay, who's in a right college, right? I mean, when I say right college, in spirituality there are something called as parampara, okay, there are some sampradayas and there are many authentic sampradayas. So we should approach the right guru in an authentic sampradaya, okay, and under his guidance learn through the right set of scriptures that are prescribed, and that is the only way to learn spirituality. There is no greatness of me, I'm not a swami by the way, right? But what the only thing I've done is that I approached a guru in the right sampradaya, and whatever he told me I followed, okay, whatever books was recommended to me I studied them, okay, I understood the explanations, I asked questions for years and years, and that's how I know whatever I know, okay. There's nothing, no great thing about me, okay. Anybody who does it, it's a repeatable process, right? You can become an engineer or a doctor if you get into the right college and study under the right guru, right? So the same thing. So spirituality is also, think of it like a science, but हमने क्या कर दिया है ना, हमने because of misconceptions we thought कि घर पे जो बता दिया पूजा पाठ वही सब, अगरबत्ती जला दी, भगवत गीता को लपेट के रख दिया, things like that, बस हो गया, हमारा घर सब अच्छा हो जाएगा। नहीं, this not going to work. Think of it like a science. Ask question, study what is told, right? Apply them. When you get doubt, get it clarified, and then again apply, right? This is how we make our life better. So it is all about that.
तो मतलब डिजायर होना सही है, मतलब ये डिजायर होना कि आप एक आपके सोल को आप जान के फिर आप एक ऐसे जगह पे जाएंगे जहाँ पे इमेंस हैप्पीनेस ही हैप्पीनेस है, तो that desire is okay.
That desire, because that is the right desire to have. See, that is the only right desire to have. अगर आपको पानी में डाल दिया, फेंक दिया पानी में, आप डूबने वाले हो, right? What is the desire you should have then? Oh, please मुझे बाहर निकलना है इस वाटर से, right? Is that
survival?
Yes, right. And is it a wrong desire? No, right? Because you're struggling in that water.
Nature ने हमको ऐसे ही बनाया है,
कैसे बनाया?
to survival.
No, it's not that.
अच्छा सर,
the point I'm trying to make is that desire good or bad? That I want to get out of this water. It is not bad, right? Because you're trying to correlate that desire of getting out of this world as a bad desire. So I'm saying that because you want to get out of this water, right? That water, nobody will consider that as a bad desire. But if I say I want to collect 50 billion rupees, somebody will say, "Arey, bad desire," because it get you into trouble, right? Your entire life will go into just earning money and you will not go anywhere, right? But surviving out of that water is a good desire. Similarly, this world is called Bhav Sagar. Okay, Bhav Sagar means ocean of taking birth again and again and again. And if this ocean is not a bad desire to have, because the same thing, you are stuck in this ocean. Okay.
ओके, तो हमको इस ओशन से बाहर निकलना है।
करेक्ट।
ओके, अच्छा एक थोड़ा पर्सनल क्वेश्चन है मेरा, मतलब वो मेरे से ही रिलेटेड है, क्योंकि आजकल मतलब ये मुझे हुआ है क्योंकि मुझे बहुत क्यूरियोसिटी हो गई है ये सब जानने की। तो अब क्योंकि मेरी एक बेटी है 4.5 साल की, एंड आई वाज प्लानिंग फॉर अनदर चाइल्ड, तो अब मेरे दिमाग में एक कंफ्यूजन आ गया है कि मैं एक और बच्चा पैदा करके और ज्यादा वर्ल्डली अफेयर्स में एंगेज हो जाऊंगी, मतलब मोह माया में और फंस जाऊंगी, तो मैं अपने आप को इस ओशन से बाहर निकालूंगी कैसे? तो क्या ये कंफ्यूजन आना सही है?
देखिए, it depends. I mean, as I said, कि it is about, we cannot be desireless in this world, but we can purify our desires. Okay, it is a personal thing. Don't want to give you a personal opinion, but I can tell you one thing. Just think of it like this. Okay, अगर आपने श्रीमद् भागवत के बारे में थोड़ी स्टोरीज कभी सुनी हो, कभी ध्रुव के बारे में सुना है कभी? ध्रुव करके एक भक्त थे जो बेसिकली विष्णु जी की, जिन्होंने तपस्या की, विष्णु जी ने उन्हें दर्शन दिया। कभी सुना है ऐसी कोई कहानी? नहीं सुनी है तो ठीक है, मैं फिर नहीं बताता हूँ कि उन्होंने, एक भक्त थे, श्रीमद् भागवत में उनकी बड़ी लंबी कहानी आती है। उन्होंने अपनी माँ बाप को, अपनी माँ को अपने साथ वैकुंठ तक का उनको रास्ता दिखा दिया था। जो प्रहलाद थे, उन्होंने उनको प्रॉमिस किया नरसिम्हा देव ने कि आपके ना सारी पुरानी कई सारी जो पुश्ते हैं ना, वो सबको मैं मुक्त कर दूंगा यहाँ से. So now these are also childs of somebody, right? Having a desire to have a child like that, is that a bad desire, right? They can liberate you, you never know, right? So ऐसा नहीं है कि एक बच्चा होना है आपको बांध के रखेगा, हो सकता है वो बच्चा आपको लिबरेट भी कर दे. The point I am trying to make is, it is about purifying our desires, right? Why don't I desire कि I get I become भक्त, right? And मेरा जो बच्चा हो वो भी भक्ति में अच्छा हो. I mean, श्रीमद् भागवत में एक श्लोक आता है, and what it says is that कि nobody should become a father or a teacher or a king or something like that, okay, or an officer, think of it like that, unless वो अपने नीचे के जो लोग हैं ना उनको इस दुनिया से निकाल ना सके. If he is not able to liberate people, then he should not become a guru or a father or a officer, right? He should not become like that. So that is the responsibility of a person in that higher post, to be able to liberate persons under him, under her, right? So why not have that desire? Why to have that desire, right? So हम क्या कैसे इन चीजों को स्पिरिचुअलाइज कर सकते हैं अपनी लाइफ को? द गेम इज देयर. द गेम इज नॉट कि हम साधु बाबा बन के कपड़े उतार के जंगल में जाके या पहाड़ पे जाके बैठ जाएंगे. No, that is not going to help us. In this world, sitting here, we can get out. Okay, and we'll talk about those things in detail. But it is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yet karoshi nasi yad joshi dadasi yad yad tapashyasi kaunte. So वो क्या बोलते हैं कि जो भी दान करो, जो भी कुछ करो, right, सब मेरे लिए करो. Okay, and that is good enough. Whatever you are doing, do it for me. Okay, so anything can be spiritualized. That is not the point. This is beyond the this class discussion. But you are asking a personal question. As I'm saying, it's your decision. Definitely feel free to take that decision. Whichever way you go, both could be same. I mean, like, both could liberate you. This side or that side, both could liberate you. Do not think like that कि एक डिसीजन मुझे फंसा देगा और एक मुझे लिबरेट करेगा. सारे डिसीजन आपको लिबरेट कर सकते हैं. Okay, how pure is your desire is the point. Yeah.
I get it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other question, anyone? Okay. Yeah, thank you, Satiji. Yeah, I'm assuming we are done here. Yeah, if there are further questions, feel free to post them in WhatsApp or yeah, let me know. You can personally message me or post them in WhatsApp.